ॐ यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तंहदेवम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय आविराविर्मयेधि रुद्रयत्ते दक्षिणं मुखं तेन मां पाहि नित्यम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ शक्तिसमुद्रसमुत्थतरङ्गं दर्शितप्रेमविजृम्भितरङ्गं संशयराक्षसनाशमहास्त्रं यामि गुरुं शरणं भववैद्यम्। अद्वैतत्त्वसमाहितचित्तं प्रोज्ज्वलभक्तिपटावृतवृत्तं कर्मकलेवरमद्भुतचेष्टं यामि गुरुं शरणं भववैद्यं। नरदेवदेव जय जय नरदेव। तं देशिकेन्द्रं परमं पवित्रं विश्वस्य पालं मधुरं यतीन्द्रं हिताय नृणां नरमूर्तिमन्तं विवेक आनन्दमहं नमामि। Offering my respectful pranams to most revered President Maharaj, all the Vice President Maharaj, Senior Swami, Swami Chaitananda ji is here, Swami Jyotirupananda ji, Swami Pitambarananda ji, to all the senior Swamis, my respectful pranams. To the President of this meeting, Swami Divyananda ji, my respectful pranams to all the brahmacharis and junior sannyasis. Affectionate regards to all the devotees, admirers of Ramakrishna Vivekananda. My greetings and regards. To speak about Swami Vivekananda in 40 minutes, I remember the statement made by Swami Vivekananda when he arrived in Colombo. The first statement she made, the subject is vast and the time is short. It is said, one teenage boy was present there in Sri Lanka at that time. He heard this, his whole life was transformed. The subject of realization of God is so vast, and my life is slowly ebbing away. He renounced the world, became a great yogi. And the yogi Swami, one of the greatest yogis of Sri Lanka. So subject is very vast, and the time, of course, is very short. How can you describe the unlimited in limited time? Miss Josephine MacLeod, the dear disciple of Swami Vivekananda, who chose to call herself not a disciple but a friend of Vivekananda, wrote in her reminiscences, one thing which is characteristic of Swami Vivekananda is unlimitedness. The amazing size of him. You can't touch the bottom or the middle or the top. In the Gita, the Bhagavan, when he is showing the Vishwarupa, Arjuna said, Nanto na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami Vishweshwara Vishwarupa. So you cannot imagine what the size of Swami Vivekananda was. I will relate two incidents which I heard from Swami Kailashananda Ji Maharaj, who intimately interacted with so many direct disciples at Belur Math. He was the dear, most intimate Shevak of Mahapurush Swami Shivananda Ji, as we know. So our love for the direct disciples grew more and more when we heard reminiscences from the mouth of Swami Kailashananda Ji. Once Sharat Maharaj, Swami Sharadananda Ji, was asked to speak about Swamiji, and with great emotion he began by reciting the famous verse from the Shiva Mahimna Stotram by Pushpadanta, which is very famous. Asitagiri samam syat kajjalam sindhu patre surataru varashakha lekhani patramurvi likhati yadi grihitva sharada sarvakalam tadapi tava gunanam isha param nayati. If the great mountain be the ink, and the ocean be the ink pot, and the best branch of the celestial tree Kalpavriksha, Kalpataru, be used as a pen, and the entire earth as the paper on which to write, and Vagdevi Saraswati goes on writing for infinite time, even then, O Lord, your qualities cannot be described. Was it exaggeration? Or was it they wanted to use hyperbole? Swami Vivekananda used to call the Oriental hyperbole. In India and the Puranas we will see, most of the kings live for 10,000 years. 10,000 means you should conveniently drop a couple of zeros. That is the Oriental hyperbole, meaning that don't think small. Swami Vivekananda, all of us know, was very fond of using zeros. 100,000 men and women will walk over the fire with the zeal of holiness. The minimum is 100,000, several millions also. That is the Indian way of describing greatness. Once we asked Swami Bhuteshanandaji Maharaj of revered memory, Maharaj, is it all exaggeration? Swami Vivekananda spoke so much about Sri Ramakrishna in eulogistic terms, sometimes using great hyperbole. Even if you can find the limit to Brahman, you cannot limit the infinite moods. Ananta Bhavamaya Thakur, you cannot limit his moods. Then Bhuteshan just smiled and said, "Oh fools, do you think Swamiji was exaggerating?" He was exactly describing what he saw, what he perceived, and what he felt. Kailashanji again described a similar day like this. The Tithi Puja Swami Vivekananda. Mahapurush Maharaj used to be beside himself with great feeling and joy on such occasions. Kailashanji told us it was Mahapurush Maharaj who started the reading of the Mahadi direct disciples' lives and teachings on the occasion of their birthdays. So on Swami Vivekananda's Tithi Puja, he was constantly talking about Swamiji, going ecstatic sometimes, and late in the night he was discussing Swamiji's glory with the brahmacharis and the disciples. The brahmacharis were dead tired, working whole day, and some of them were dozing off, but they can't say, "Maharaj, please stop, we want to go to sleep." That is not done in India. Suddenly Mahapurush saw them. I see all of you are so tired. Go and sleep. But I can't sleep today. Aaj Shiva Guna Gana Kore, Ami Dhanna Holam, Ami Ata Ghumute Parvona. And his characteristic intonation, Swami Kailashananda used to say, Aaj Shiva Guna Gana Kore, Ami Dhanna Holam. I have described the glory of Shiva, I have been sung his glory, I can't sleep anymore. Swami Turiyanandaji was listening to the reading of the Bhagavatam, where Buddhava's occasion comes there. The story is the full moon, bright golden disk reflected in the waters of the lake or the river, and the fish are playing with this reflection. So beautiful, so extraordinarily charming. The whole night the fish were playing there. In the morning when the sun rose, the moon was not there. They go crying to the mother fish, "Oh mother, what happened to a playmate? How happily we were playing the whole night. Where does it go?" Then the mother said, "You stupid fellows, was he your playmate? He is the moon in the sky. He had come down for some time in order to give you joy. and hope. When Turiyanandaji heard this, his eyes was moist with tears. Everybody thought perhaps he's remembering his Guru, Sri Ramakrishna. After some time, Turiyanandaji spoke with great emotion. How much we have played with fun and frolic and talk and discussion with the Narayan, Swami Vivekananda. How could we know his greatness? And the emphatic, powerful statement. We thought he was one of us, only extraordinarily talented. How could we ever know that he did not belong to us? He was a class by himself. Who was Vivekananda? I will audaciously attempt, may Swamiji pardon me, to find out what is the Swarupa of Swami Vivekananda from what we get and what we have heard from elders. What was his Swarupa? What was the extent of his personality? I take the clue from Bhagavan Sri Krishna's statement in the 18th chapter. When you attain Parabhakti, what happens? Through that bhakti, bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. The only verse in the Bhagavad Gita where the word tattvata occurs twice, the first line and the second line. Tattvata is a very interesting word in Sanskrit. Tat means that, tattva means thatness, and tattvata, the sajal pratyaya, through thatness. So what it actually means in actuality, in reality, exactly what is the Swarupa? Yavan yaschasmi. Bhagavan Bhashyakara, Sri Shankara Bhagavat Pada, says Yavan means Sopadhika, Yaschasmi Nirupadhika. So completely in its transcendental and immanent aspects, absolute in the relative aspects, in all-pervading as well as present in all beings. Yavan yaschasmi tattvataha, having known me, tattvato jnatva, what happens? Tad anantaram vishate. Swami Tapasyanandaji was my intellectual mentor. So to say, always used to emphasize this verse and say, Bhagavan does not enter into controversies of Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, whether it is a part or whether it is full, etc. Tad anantaram vishate. Tad, that. Anantaram, thereafter, vishate, enters. He enters into divine life. His whole life becomes saturated with divinity. What is the Swarupa of Swami Vivekananda, as far as we can gather, for which we should remember, first of all, the Swami Vivekananda was not made to be aware of his own Swarupa. That was Ramakrishna's great fear. The moment he realizes his own Swarupa, that moment he will give up his body, taking the path of yoga. So he was extremely careful that Swami Vivekananda did not realize his Swarupa. Swami Satswarupananda, who again mentored me for a very long time, he wrote in a Prabuddha Bharata article 1956, where he said, Swami Vivekananda's unconscious greatness and mission. That is the title of the article. Swami Vivekananda was unconsciously great because he was not made to be aware of his own greatness. And Swami Vivekananda never thought he is very special, although he was. And he thought everybody will sleep as he did, seeing a light between the eyebrows, which becomes bigger and bigger and bursts out, and he gets immersed in that light and sleeps off. Sri Ramakrishna first asked him, do you see a light? The Narayan thought innocently, everybody sleeps like that. He never thought himself very special. And Sri Ramakrishna gave him a very special treatment, even to the irritation of Narendranath, because he was based on Samatva. Narendranath's equality is very important for him. Why do you treat me specially? And some other devotees told him, সব সময় নরেন খা আমরা কি বানের জলে ভেসে এসেছি নাকি? বানের জলে ভেসে এসেছি, very difficult to translate it to English. There are certain terms which Ramakrishna uses. One such is, I remember certainly, which was told to me by the revered President Maharaj Swami Smarananandaji in Advaita Ashram when he was there. When American Swami was reading the literature in original Bengali, Sri Ramakrishna says, নরেন অনেকদিন আসছে না, খুব কষ্ট হচ্ছে ওনার, তবুও বলছেন আসছে না ভালোই হয়েছে, ওই এলে একটা কাণ্ড নিয়ে আসে। নরেন is not coming for a very long time, he is terribly upset, but he says, oh, it's good that this doesn't come. ও কাণ্ড নিয়ে আসে। So this American Swami goes to Swami Smarananandaji. At that time, he was the manager of Advaita Ashrama. Swami, what is Kando? What is Kando? What is Kando? It's so difficult. One more word is Hujug. Sri Ramakrishna, Kolkata logo Hujuge. Now, what is Hujuge? Kando is one small word which describes Swami Vivekananda exactly. That means wherever he is, nobody can take him for granted. He makes his presence. An American disciple wrote beautifully, he is like a mad bull in a china shop. Wherever he enters, he creates so much of commotion. Some of the disciples are discussing in America, who is the greatest preacher? The Hindu preacher has come to the West. So many names were mentioned, but not Vivekananda. One of the disciples said, but what about Vivekananda? Don't you think he is the greatest? Then they quietly said, yes, we know he is the greatest, but I dare not mention him. He overwhelms me. You can't come to Vivekananda without being overwhelmed and without being even infinitesimally transformed. The power which Ramakrishna gave him and which he himself consolidated through his endless sadhana was so tremendous, whomsoever he touches, he will overwhelm and transform him. So who was Swami Vivekananda? Yavan yaschasmi. What was his extent and who was he? We can go back to Sri Ramakrishna himself, because only Ramakrishna, perhaps, by Ramakrishna include Mother also, Sashaktika Sri Ramakrishna, knew who Swami Vivekananda was exactly. The first time Naren comes to Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna could recognize him. He says, as the Saptarshi Mandala Rishi, we will go into some kind of mystical, esoteric, and somewhat mysterious realm. So let us suspend our stupid intellect and logic for some time, because these things can never be understood by logic and by intellectual probing. But it's so elevating for us, we'll be saturated with the mystical Swami Vivekananda. My mind was soaring higher and higher and higher. A well-known description of Narayan by Sri Ramakrishna himself. Beyond all the lokas, perhaps beyond the Hiranyagarbha loka, the Satya loka, the whole thing is luminous everywhere. The luminosity of divine consciousness is Chaitanya, and a portion of the luminosity condensed in the form of a little child. And the child goes to one of the 7 rishis absorbed in samadhi and gently puts the arms around that rishi and said, I am going, you too should come with me. The gentle touch of the divine child awakened this rishi. He opens his eyes and with great love looks at the child as if the child is the darling of his heart, and through a nod or a smile gives his assent, again gets into samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna said, the moment I saw Narayan, I could identify him with that rishi. The first, when he saw him, takes him to that semicircular porch, and with the folded hands, remember that Ramakrishna was reasonably old compared to Narayan. Narayan was just a teenager boy studying in college. Jani ami Prabhu, tumi shei puratan rishi, narorupi Narayan, জগতে দুঃখ নিবারণের জন্য পুনরায় শরীর ধারণ করেছ. Narayan was flabbergasted. What's happening? I am a boy. I am a son of Vishwanath Datta. This has to be remembered carefully. I'll come back to this. And what is he doing? Is he mad? But he doesn't appear to be mad. He is talking normally with everybody. This riddle he could not solve. Again came back quietly. Continuously this was revolving in his brain. Who is this person talking to me like that? Then Sri Ramakrishna catches hold of his hand. Promise me that you will come again and come alone. Narayan keeps his promise. Comes for the second time. Then Sri Ramakrishna straight away wanted to give him the highest Nirvikalpa Samadhi. According to Swami Sharadananda ji, he says that very first meeting Sri Ramakrishna determines that he will give the highest Samadhi to Narayan. He touched him with his feet, his chest. Narayan saw the whole world was vanishing, and along with that his own individuality. The Narayan which used to make fun of the Westerners, you Westerners are so terribly afraid of losing your individuality. That Narayan was crying, oh, what are they doing to me? I have parents at home. Amar badite baap ma ache. So look at these two incidents. These great avatars, incarnations of God, and the Parshadas come for Shastra Pramana. That's what we hear, we learn, to prove the veracity of the Shastras. The Shastras, the great scriptures are all true. How is it proved? By the lives and teachings of the great avatars. The idea that I am so-and-so's son is so deeply ingrained in everybody. Naisargikoyam lokabhyavaharaha. Shankara in the Brahma Sutra Bhashya Upodghata, naturally it comes to everybody. Does it come to avatars also? Yes, apparently. Jata iva, dehavan iva, lokanugraham kurvan niva lakshyate. That is Shankara in the Gita Bhashya. All their doings are iva. One word, if you want to describe Advaita Vedanta, somebody asks you, say iva. The word is true? Yes. True iva. Everything is real? Yes. Real iva. As if it is real. In the Kathopanishad Bhashya, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhotmana prakashate drishyate tvagriya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshabhihi. There Shankara's poetic Bhashya, Oho Adikambhira Duravagahya Vichitra Shayyam Maya Yadaham Sarvo Jantuhu Paramarthada Paramatma Swarupopi Aham Paramatma iti Nagrinhati Anuchyamanopi Aham Amushya Putra iti Grinhati Nunam Parasyaiva Maya Momuhyamanaha Sarvo Loko Mambramiti Tathacha Smaranam Aham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavrata iti. That is the Bhashya. So, Amushya Putra naturally, spontaneously came to Narendra. What was Ramakrishna's reaction? He was slightly disappointed, slightly piqued, and somewhat confused. Is that the same person who identified as Saptarshi Narayana? Why is he behaving like this? I should now probe into this little more. Look at Ramakrishna's method. Left him like that, did not say anything. Again you come. Third time Narendra comes there. Sri Ramakrishna took him far away to the Jodumallik's garden house and the small parlor there, the room. He takes him there, puts him into samadhi. That's what Sri Ramakrishna said later on. See, we cannot understand any of these with the logical brains. Suspend the logical brain. Try to probe into this mystery, this mystical Narayana Leela for our own edification and our own spiritual advancement. Sri Ramakrishna says, I put Narendra into deep trance and asked him who he was, where he came from, Yavan Yaschasmi, and how long will he stay in this earth, what was the mission which he came to accomplish. And Sri Ramakrishna says, by going deep into himself, he answered these questions correctly. Correctly means what? What Sri Ramakrishna expected him to answer. The whole play is written. Remember the Avatara Leela, whole script is written. They come and then recite this and vanish. Then he was convinced it is the same person which has come as an Narendranath. How many kinds of sadhana he made him do. And he begins his mission. He has now identified he is that Nararishi and he is the person who is going to be my helpmate in my mission. Now the job begins. Two things Sri Ramakrishna has to accomplish. One, he has to make Narendranath accept Kali. Why? Because he comes from Akhandera Ghorer Lok, from the realm of Satchidananda, Akhanda Satchidananda, the realm of the indivisible. And unless he accepts Kali Shakti, he cannot accomplish the job of the Nararishi Narayana in the relative plane which is the jurisdiction of Kali. Shakti Relaka, he says. The jurisdiction of the relative world is Kali, and Narayan has to accept Kali. And where is Narendranath at that time? Under the clutches of Brahma Samaj. See how the drama unfolds. Ramakrishna is very fond of Keshab Chandra Sen. He used to go often there and to find out who are the people, who are the boys which are promising, and hijack all of them. Very interesting drama. You hijack all the people there, already identified by Sri Ramakrishna himself. Narayan is the influence of Brahma Samaj. Two things he will not accept. One is, I am the Supreme Brahman, the Advaita idea. Second is the idea of Kali. Later on he used to say how I used to hate Kali. Nivedita. 3 dots are there. You can fill them yourself through your imagination. He made me a slave of her. What he used to call Kali entered into me, and she will not give me rest unless I accomplish his work. And he says, no, the thing which made me do it, except Kali, is a secret which shall die with me. Kali worship is a special fad, but I do not propagate it or preach it to others. His last wish was to have Kali Puja at Belur Math. Look at our tradition at Belur Math, which was started by Vivekananda himself and Holy Mother, and fortified and reinforced by Swamis Brahmananda, Shivananda and others. On Swami Vivekananda's birthday, you have Kali Puja in the night. What is the mystical significance we do not know. We could guess that Swamiji was extremely fond of Kali, so he had to be made to accept Kali. And he should accept Advaita Vedanta. What a strange combination. Sri Ramakrishna will quietly call Narendranath, close the door, and pick up a small book from under the pillow. Ashtavakra Gita. Read this for me. Naren reads a few pages and blurts out, saying that I am Brahman, I am one with the infinite. It's all wrong. A Rishider Mata Kharab hoye geche. Sri Ramakrishna says, Tui manishna, Rishider Galmanda Dichish Kano. Then, look at Sri Ramakrishna's way of tackling him. Narayan's greatest weakness is nothing for himself. Sri Ramakrishna knew that. আমি তো মূর্খ, আমি তো বুঝতে পারি না রে, পড়তে পারি না, আমার জন্য একটু পড় না। See, I can't read these books, very complicated for me. For my sake you read. Oh, for your sake? Then I can read. Nothing for himself. Till the end, he said, toward the end, he wrote a beautiful letter. I look back upon my life and see there's not a single thought or a single action which I did for myself. And therefore, I'm content. I see the world around, everything was self. Then he reads Ashtavakra Samhita, page after page, for the sake of Sri Ramakrishna, not for him, not for me. Also, you read for me. Till the idea of Ashtavakra entered deep into him and transformed Narayan into a great champion of Advaita. That Narayan who was crying in Brahma Samaj, Tumi Tribhuvananath, Ami Bhikhari Anath, Kemone Bolibo Tomai, Esho Mama Hridaye. I am a beggar in the street, orphaned and poor, and you are the Lord of the three worlds. How can I tell you, my Lord, to come and sit in my heart? That Narendranath thunders in the world stage later on. Never forget the glory of human nature. Buddhas and Christs are but the waves of the infinite ocean which I am. What a transformation of Vivekananda. Swami Ramakrishna knew that Advaita Vedanta has to be preached by Narendranath all the world over, and that is the only religion or philosophy which will stand the test of science and scrutiny, and the rational religion of the future humanity, as Swami Vivekananda himself said. Next, Kali. It is not easy. Naren has to break down and cry. How? Father dies, and all his relatives who were being fed and pampered by his father Vishwanath Datta, all of them turn against. They want to take away the property. Helpless mother on the one hand and the brothers in the others, almost starving. Can you imagine a person so talented as Narendranath not getting a 10 rupee, 5 rupee job in the whole of Calcutta? There is Avatara Leela. Ramakrishna sees that you will not get a job, come and cry to me, I will see. Ultimately, he can't bear the suffering anymore. He runs to Sri Ramakrishna and said, Ami ar parchine. Ma khete parchana, bhaira khete parchana. Apni ma ke bolun na. You tell mother, I can't bear their suffering anymore. Come. He caught him there, and how harsh are the avatars. আমি মাকে বলেছিলাম, মা আমার কথা শুনছে না, তুই তো মাকে মানিস না, তো সেজন্য মা তো আমার কথা শুনছে না. See how he pokes him at that time when he is breaking down. I told the mother is not listening to me because you don't accept mother. Go and accept mother. No, you should tell him. আমি তো মাকে চিনি না, আপনি চিনেন, আপনি কথা কন, আপনি বললে মা শুনবেন. So much faith. I don't know the mother, but you see her, you talk to her. Please tell mother on my behalf. You have to say, আমি ছাড়বো না আপনাকে. That is the faith of the Guru. Then Sri Ramakrishna coaxes him, go, today is Tuesday, আজকে মঙ্গলবার, তুই যা চাবি মাকে দেবেন. He was waiting. The second prahara of that night, historic night, he goes and stands before Bhavatarini to ask for relief from misery and starvation of his mother and brothers. The moment he sees that Chinmayi Murti, full of consciousness, vibrant and living, then repeatedly say, mother, give me vairagya, give me viveka, and then comes back. What does Ramakrishna do? Normally, if the disciple asks for vairagya and tyaga, etc., the Guru is delighted. Oh, that is the way, go on, spiritual life. The strange Guru is terribly angry. You could not remember this much? Again you go. Second time, third time, out of shame I could not ask her. Then he said, all right, some provision will be made for them. So this is another thing to notice. In respect of Narendra alone, Sri Ramakrishna is extremely careful that he should not fly away in the realm of Samadhi, and he wanted to put him in Maya. Look at Naren. Dekho Narener. Mahamaya emon aishwarya diyeche oke, emon vibhuti diyeche, যা দিয়ে নিজের হাত পা যেন বেঁধে রেখেছে 10 ফুট দেড়ে যেতে পারে না। Mahamaya, the Divine Mother, has imparted so much of glory and so much of vibhuti to him that she cannot go near him 10 feet. And he says, that's there. Ma, look at the Maya te phele dao. Mother, put him in Maya, otherwise he will not work. Have you seen anywhere the Guru praying that the disciple should be in bondage? What does the Guru do? Khandana bhava bandhana jaga bandhana vandito maya. Swamiji himself said, Khandana bhava bandhana is the role of the Guru. Bhava sagara tarana karana hai. Here a strange Guru talking to a strange disciple, praying to the Divine Mother that the disciple should put in bondage. This is the key to the understanding the Ramakrishna Vivekananda Naranarayana Leela. Many people think that Swamiji was not consistent. What kind of consistency these people need? Look at the Bhagavad Gita. Every chapter seems to be independent. Arjuna is again and again confused. Second chapter he says, Avadadi, Atma Tattva and so on. Third chapter says, Chayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhirta Arjuna tatkam karmani khore mam niyojayasi. What are you doing? Then somewhat he convinces him. Third chapter, fourth chapter, fifth chapter again he is confused. So consistency, as I think Voltaire said, is the hobgoblin of little minds, logical consistency. So Swami Vivekananda was saturated by God. He spoke as God spoke through him. Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha, ascharyo jnata kushalanusishtaha. He is an Ascharya disciple and Ascharya Guru. The Guru praying that the disciple should be put in bondage. He accepts Kali finally, and Ramakrishna's job is not done as yet. What is the next job? Narendra should accept Ramakrishna as the incarnation of Kali. Otherwise, should he do his job? He gives him Nirvikalpa Samadhi finally, and then says, I have locked it up. Where did he keep the key? Nobody knows, because he never used to wear any shirt. The key is with me. I will open the box after you have done my work. I checked in the life of Swami Gambhirananda ji. Amar kaj jokhon shesh hobe tokhon khule deowa hobe. He does not say mother's work. Normally he doesn't use the word Amar. In this case, strangely he uses this word, identifying himself with the Divine Mother. The key is with him, and he repeatedly tries to coax Naren to accept Ramakrishna as an incarnation of God. Naren, oneke bole, er sambandhe tui ki bolish. That means many people say I'm an incarnation. Hajar log boluk. Ami jotokhon na dekhbo, bujhbo, tatokhon manbo na. So Ramakrishna smiles. Wait, where will you try? I'll pull you again. At the end, Ramakrishna almost dying, extremely ill. He is going to enter into Mahasamadhi very soon. Narayan is thinking, at this moment, if he can tell me his incarnation, then I will accept. Pat came the reply with very clear articulation. Ekhono shandeho, Je Ram, Je Krishna, She Idaning Ramakrishna, kintu tor Vedanter dike noy. In Vedanta, everybody is incarnation. Swami Ramakrishna says, incarnation is only Shakti. Shakti Samudra Samutha Tarangam. For Vedanta, there is no incarnation. He accepted it. Was he fully convinced? It doesn't appear so. Because again, like the Bhagavad Gita, once again, the Naranarayana Leela always parallels Arjuna and Krishna. 11th chapter, first shloka. Mohoyam vigato mama. By your words my moha is gone. Vigata, Vishesh Rupena Gataha. So that can be agata, that can come back also. Again came back, 7 more chapters had to go. 18th chapter, 73rd verse, 1873. Nashto moha smritir labdha tvat prasadat mayachyuta sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. My moha is not gone, it is destroyed. And I have gone back, my smriti. What is that smriti? As the Nararishi Narayana, your helpmate, and I shall do what you command me to do. When did that happen? Again he ran to Pavhari Baba. Why? Many of his own brother disciples misunderstood him at that time, including Baburam Maharaj. Why is he running there? And why he ran, according to our understanding, little understanding, he wanted to learn Hatha Yoga to make his body strong and break that box. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi was locked up. How to break that box? Somebody told him, Pavhari Baba has a duplicate key. You may get that key and open that box. He ran there, did not get anything, Pavhari Baba. And 21 days Ramakrishna had to struggle to show his avataratva. How much of struggle he went through, as Buddhanandaji beautifully writes, Ramakrishna Narendra Sadhana, to bring Narendra to do his work, 21 days. Nirva kanon chola chola ankhi, gaigi to shunate tomai. He is crying. Now the conclusion is Ramakrishna is not without any parallel, and completely he surrendered to him. And when did he know his Swarupa? All the disciples were carefully watching over him so that he will not remember his real nature. Toward the end of his life, Swamiji was chatting with some of his brother disciples and followers, making fun and so on as he wont. Suddenly one of them asked, Swamiji, do you remember your real nature? There's a hush of silence. Swamiji said slowly, yes, I know now. Everybody knew Swamiji will not live long. Then he remembered his real nature, it opened up. He tried so many times. How many times he tried to enter into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, even in the West. Once it is said he entered into Samadhi, Ramakrishna brought him down. No, not now. More work is to be done. Constantly watching over him so that his disciples shall not get the highest. What a strange Naranarayana Leela. If you meditate upon this and think of his real Swarupa, Premeshanji says, who is Vivekananda? The beautiful song, Kere Padda Palasha Lochana. There he says, Kiva Parichoy. What is the Parichaya? What is the identity of Vivekananda? Ramakrishna Maya, Mama Manasa Ranjana. If you can find somebody who is Ramakrishna Maya, you can say, he is Vivekananda. Swamiji himself said, without him, who am I? Except a mass of selfish, foolish emotions. Everything is his, and he never spoke about his master because he would be overwhelmed and become him. When he said, I know now, everybody knew that he will not live long. And the last 2 days I will recount and stop here. 2nd of July and 4th of July 1902. 2nd of July, Nivedita had come to him, almost crying. I cannot manage the school anymore. These girls do not want to come to education. What kind of subjects should be introduced to bring them to education? Swami Vivekananda, it is said, listened quietly for a very long time without speaking a single word. So unlike him, at the end he said, you see, you may introduce these subjects or you may not. My mind is no longer in such things. I am preparing for death. But you should eat your meals with me today. After Nivedita had eaten, Swami Vivekananda poured water in the hands to wash. Nivedita protested very much the disciple and said, Swami, I cannot bear you do this to me. You are my Guru. Swamiji smiled and said, Jesus the Christ washed the feet of his disciples. Nivedita just had it on the tip of her tongue to say, But that was the last time they ever met. Nivedita never met him again. On that historic day, he said, the spiritual impact which has come to Belur Math will last 1500 years, and this will be a great university. Do not think I imagine it, I see it. On the 4th of July, Swamiji taught Panini Vyakarana, perhaps Ashtadhyayi, perhaps Patanjali's Mahabhashya of Ashtadhyayi, for more than 2 hours to brahmacharis. He woke them up from their noon siesta. Training center brahmacharis, take note. And he taught Panini's grammar for 2.5 hours. Then went for a walk with Swami Premanandaji, his dear brother disciple, in Belur. And he said, Prachin Bharatiya Dhara Bojai Rekhe, Tar Shonge, Adhunik Gyan Vigyana Anushilano Jate Hoy, এমন একটি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় গড়তে হবে। বেলুরের সমস্ত জমি দেখাইয়া বলিলেন, এসব জমি নিয়ে এখানে একটা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় প্রতিষ্ঠা করতে হবে। We find it in Vasudevananda's reminiscence of Swami Premananda. He said, keeping the ancient Indian wisdom intact, rooted in that, and blending it harmoniously with the modern science, we should have a university in the precincts of Belur Math. And he also wanted a Veda Vidyalaya should be started. Premanji asked, what good will it do? Study of Vedas? It will kill all superstitions. These were his last wishes. And he said, if there were another Vivekananda, he would know what this Vivekananda has done. But being the inveterate optimist, as he styled himself, how many more Vivekanandas will come in the future? Quoting from Bhavabhuti, Utpatsete asti mama kopi samana dharma alohyayam niravadi vipulacha prithvi. There will come somebody among the disciples and followers of Ramakrishna who will be like me and who will be able to understand me. Swamiji's great sorrow, as most of the incarnations have, nobody can understand them. Achina Gach. Nobody can know who they are. We are blessed that we have been able to find shelter at his feet and to constantly think about these ideas and imagine this drama, Nara Rishi Narayana Leela, is one of the greatest elevating experiences for one's own spiritual advancement and Jagat Hita. Thank you. Jayato Vivekananda.